Let's begin by summarizing the strategies we talked about in the last segment for supporting the conclusions of enumerative inductions, which are always universal generalizations. First, you can use a non-universal generalization as a premise to show that some, and perhaps many, things of the relevant kind, such as emeralds, mules, potatoes, etc., have or don't have a certain feature, such as blueness, stubbornness, vitamin C, whatever. Second, you can use a number of specific statements as premises to back up the universal generalization functioning as a conclusion, such as rows 1 has a specific property, rows 2 has that property, rows 3 also has it, etc., and therefore all rows have the property. Let's return to the inferential leap that all inductions must make. If I argue that, since every swan I have observed so far has been white, that therefore all swans are white, it's clear that I'm making a non-conclusive inference. It's possible for the premise to be true and the conclusion false. I could be mistaken in my assertion that all swans are white. Here's where counterexamples come in very handy. When we recognize that my conclusion is really a hypothesis in which I have asserted a universal generalization, that all swans are white, therefore, if I were to observe a single non-white swan, I would have effectively falsified or disconfirmed my hypothesis by pointing out a counterexample, a non-white swan. Any exception to the conclusion of an enumerative induction will function as a counterexample that proves my conclusion to be false. This image says it in a nutshell. The famous black swans of Vienna. This is a counterexample, and it's sufficient to disprove the hypothesis that all swans are white. Counterexamples are very important in the process of scientific discovery, since they disconfirm or falsify an existing hypothesis. When an existing hypothesis is disconfirmed, a new scientific theory needs to be devised to take its place. This concludes this segment of a multi-part lecture on induction. Please proceed to the next segment.